So a settlement agreement is an agreement between an employer and an employee that puts into place an agreement that they've reached. And the employee gets certainty of the agreement, and the employer gets certainty that the employee will not sue them for anything, will not pursue any claims against that employer. Some examples of when a settlement agreement would be used would be for the termination of an employee's employment to accept, say, a redundancy package, or they can be used during the course of employment where the employee has an existing claim and the employer wants to draw a line under that. They can also be used in transfer cases where an employee transfers from one business to another, and it makes sure that any claims or entitlements are wrapped up in a document. A settlement agreement will cover a range of matters. So a settlement agreement will certainly cover what the individual is entitled to, for example, monetary benefits or other benefits such as healthcare, car allowance, employment reference. The document will also, of course, have the claims that the employee is not allowed to pursue against the employer and have a list of those and any specific claims that can't be pursued. But the document will also inevitably include confidentiality clauses, possibly some restrictions on what the employee can and can't do after he or she leaves employment, and it's important that they're all properly considered by a solicitor. You would need to have advice from a solicitor, because if you don't have advice from a solicitor, then the document won't be a binding document. It's a big undertaking to sign away your rights to pursue claims against the employer, so you need to make sure that you've spoken to a professional about it so that you understand what claims you are prevented from pursuing and exactly what the document is doing. So it's important to get that advice from a solicitor before you sign away your rights to make sure the document is clear, it puts into place the agreement between the parties, and that the individual is happy to sign it. If you were offered a settlement agreement, I would certainly recommend that you check that the pay and benefits are correct, that there are clear timescales for when those are to be received. I would certainly recommend that you check for any clauses that are too onerous in nature. So there may be some clauses that are too widely drafted. They may, for example, confidentiality may not have sufficient exclusions to be able to tell your immediate family, for example. Or there may be other clauses that are too restrictive that shouldn't be agreed, and the solicitor can help to negotiate those issues for you. Settlement agreements are a really useful way of drawing a line under any dispute the employee has with the employer. It's particularly useful to achieve a clean break in a termination situation where the employee is leaving employment. Once the settlement agreement is finalised, each party has certainty of what the terms are and a binding contractual agreement that can be enforced in the courts if needs be at a later date.